We spent a lot of time in his living room at his house, which is a really vibey place, actually, playing songs and singing, sitting on the coffee table and just singing. You know, we chose the songs for the record that way, or he chose the songs for the record, I should say, and tempos and key changes, and then we would sit around and discuss what other artists to bring into the recording process, like Chad Smith, who's a Red Hot Chili Peppers drummer, and Ben Montench, who's the, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Victor Andrizzo is one of Rick's favorite drummers. And, studios, engineers, all those kinds of things, we laid the blueprint for the record, and then we sort of went in and executed it. That I could never get used to, ever. I mean, I'm an absolute Elton John fanatic. I love Elton. I don't know, when I walked into that studio that day, he was so warm and welcoming and so incredibly talented. I mean, he knocked the song out in an hour and a half. And then he just sat around and schooled me on new music and lectured me about bands I don't know about, and it was great. It was one of the greatest days of my life. I was sure the plane was going to crash. Well, the song that year it's not about a dream about a friend committing suicide. It's a dream about a friendship, about us being friends, just doing normal friend things and hanging out, and playing old school Nintendo, and driving around in a car, all the things we used to do when we were teenagers. Because the reason why that dream is so significant is because after he died for 10 years, I just wrote him off as not my friend. I was too young to understand that it's not something that he did, and it wasn't just a selfish, bad kid decision. It was something that happened to him, and it was more difficult for him to make the decision to do that than it was for me to suffer the repercussions of it, for any of us to suffer the repercussions of it. So 10 years later, I was able to make peace with the fact that he was gone, why he was gone, and that I'll never understand what happened, and that, as far as I'm concerned, we're friends again. It was like something that we used to talk about in our family growing up, was going to Nashville and seeing the Ryman. Like, we were going to go to Disneyland, or we were going to go to Nashville and see the Ryman. One of those two things was going to be our family vacation. We never did either, but when I got to play the Ryman and open up for another band, it was so exciting. I flew my mother with me to Nashville, and she's a country singer, and it had always been one of her lifelong dreams to see the Ryman. And she didn't know right up until a minute before we went on stage, but we had it planned to bring her out on the stage and sing with me. So she did. She came out, and we sang Your Cheatin' Heart by Hank. And she got a standing ovation on the Opry stage for her first time in her life. So it was a really cool thing. I have a foundation called the Looking Out Foundation, and the Indigo Girls are involved in some of the projects that our foundation does. And they've got their own foundations, their own projects as well. But this particular project is called the Fight the Fear campaign. It sort of was started in response to a horrible crime that happened in Seattle over the summer. And it sent a ripple effect of fear and awareness through the women's community. And not just in Seattle, but in the Northwest. And me, along with the Indigo Girls, along with the Seattle Police Department, and these female owned and run self-defense organizations, wanted to respond to that fear, respond to that call with strength and confidence. And so what we've decided to do is offer self-defense courses to women in at-risk communities in the Seattle area for a year. And hopefully for years to come. And that's what the song is for. 100% of the proceeds go towards the Fight the Fear campaign.